As the countdown for the planned End Bad Governance protest draws nearer, the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume, and the National Security Advisor, Nuhu Ribadu, on Wednesday met with almost all the ministers of President Bola Tinubu to strategize on how to avert the protest. This comes barely 24 hours after the President urged Nigerian youths to stop the proposed demonstration. President Tinubu, to read the Minister of Information, Mohammed Idris, said the issues that triggered the planned protest are being addressed. However, former Vice President and presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party in the 2023 general elections, Yakubu Abubakar, has kicked against any attempts to deprive Nigerians their right to peaceful protest. And on the flip side, the presidential candidate of the Labour Party in the 2023 elections, Peter Obi, threatens legal action against presidential spokesperson Bayo Onanuga following his allegations that Mr. Obi is behind the planned nationwide protest. Obi's legal counsel urged Onanuga to tender a public apology and pay his client a sum of 5 billion naira as damages for allegedly tarnishing his reputation. On the surface, in what appears like a race against time, the National Assembly has swiftly passed the new minimum wage bill after President Tinubu and the Labour approved the sum of 70,000 as minimum wage. This comes after the allocation of 740 trucks of rice for distribution to the masses. On Daily Politics tonight, we'll dissect some of these issues. And Hamza Idris, thank you for joining us. Here in the studio, we have Umar Yakubu, Executive Director, Center for Fiscal Transparency and Integrity Watch. Also joining us is Nana Kazaure. She served as a spokesperson for the Labour Party's Presidential Campaign Council in the 2023 elections. She is also the Executive Director of Leaders, a female leadership project. Welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
We're happy having you, Nana. Welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
Yes, now to get the program started, let's take some tidbits. Human rights lawyer Femi Falana has called on the federal government to engage with the leaders of the planned nationwide protest scheduled to take place between 1st and 10th August. Falana also called for a constructive approach from the government to addressing the demands of young Nigerians mobilizing for the protest. He said this time around, the government should try to identify the leaders of the movement and then engage them. The lawyer, who blamed the NSAS violence on the government, warned against deploying threats or force against protesters. He said this will be counterproductive, noting that threats do not work, as what happened in 2020 during the NSAS process. And closely related to this, the President General of the Charismatic Bishop Conference, Archbishop Leonard Kawas, has dissociated the conference from the planned nationwide protest, saying they had been approached by some groups to join the protesters. He said this when they visited the Minister of Information and National Orientation in Abuja on Wednesday. Instead of protest, Bishop Kawas said they decided to go all out and call for a truce. And we now have a report from our State House correspondent on how the government is approaching all these issues.
The uppermost topic on the lips of most Nigerians has been the hunger in the land and how prices of things they used to take for granted have skyrocketed. Security agencies initially did not pay heed to the murmurings in the background, hoping that by ignoring them or downplaying them, the plans of a protest will go away. Now the highest office in the land is acknowledging that indeed some people are planning protests.
Mr. President does not see any need for that. He's asked them to shelve that plan. He's asked them to await government's response to all their pleas. He has listened to them, like I said, and a lot is happening. Only today, the National Assembly has expeditiously passed the new national minimum wage. You can see how the President is working. It was transmitted only yesterday. Today it has been passed. A lot of other interventions that the President has also put in place are also going to be looked at expeditiously in the interest of Nigeria. So there's no need for strike. The young people out there should listen to the President and allow the President more time to see to the realization of all the goodies he has for them.
It is ironic how the planning of the protests is being zeroed down to young people. They are being assured that the President is taking their views seriously. The minister is going one step further to reveal plans that the president has for the country, which he says will be executed expeditiously.
The federal government approved grains for and rice for state governments. It was delivered to them expeditiously also. The federal government is not, like I said that the other time, that it is not the necessary first step. Government is going to continue in that direction, supporting them and ensuring that whatever intervention that the federal government has put in place go to those that should benefit. It is very important that that is being put out. Federal government is looking at strategies to ensure that every intervention goes directly to those who benefit from those interventions, not middlemen.
The whole idea being pushed by the government spokesman is that the Tinubu government is all-inclusive and no one will be left behind. It remains to be seen if the planners of the protest will be convinced that this inclusiveness will benefit all classes of Nigerians. From State House, Abuja.
That was Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, after visiting President Tinubu on Tuesday. We'll now take a short break, and when we return, the conversation commences. Don't go away. Once again, Umar Yakubu, welcome to the program. Nana Kazaure, we're happy having you once again in the studio. Just yesterday, President Tinubu assured Nigerians that he has heard their grievances, he is willing to address it. And then today, almost all the ministers, and then the SGF and National Security Advisor, they met. When they came out, it was the same language. We have heard you, we will address your grievances. What is your take? Is it that government is now being responsive to the earnings of Nigerians?
Yes, being responsive comes in two ways. This is a democracy, and in a democracy, citizens have to engage government. And there are several mediums of engagement, and protest is one of them. Actually, when you plan to stage a protest, you are even supposed to be provided with police protection because it's usually peaceful. So if the citizens want to protest, it's a legitimate right of the citizens. Now, for mechanism for addressing grievances, the main mechanism should be through our legislators, our senators, our House of Representative members at the federal level. If we have issues and concerns, we address them. But that arm of government doesn't seem to be active to be doing what the citizens want. That is why you can see citizens are now bypassing that arm of government to go straight to the federal government to say, look, we are tired, we have issues, we have complaints, I want them to be addressed. So I think it's a good thing. But from your introduction, there are concerns. There are legitimate concerns, and they are quite legitimate. Because you see, when people want to protest, they have to know, why are they even protesting? What are you looking for? What exactly do you want? Don't give broad narratives to say, okay, we want change. Changes in what? It's better to be specific to say, okay, reduction in fuel price, for example. Let's say in France, when they do protests for flour for bread, they will tell you, okay, they want a decrease, or Egypt, in the cost of flour because of price of bread. Things like that. Let us be specific to ask government exactly what we want so that we can measure them and come back later and ask them whether they have done it or not. But from the way I'm seeing this, like previous protests, is usually faceless. Now, once it's faceless, it comes with security problems because you don't know what you're tackling. The second issue is that there is no concrete demand that you can hold and know what they are asking for so that government can really address this issue. Then thirdly, we have low level of engagement because most of the people that are going to protest are not well informed enough to know what they are doing, so violence may come in. Now it becomes a problem for the government. So I'm not responsible to say whether it should be done or it should not be done, but governments should understand these things and know how to sort out this problem.
All right, now maybe you should come in. Yakubu said it is a faceless group based on his estimation. But Onanuga took the buck to the table of your principal.
And that was very, very wrong of him. And that's why my principal and his lawyers have taken him to court. They've asked him, they've asked for him to first apologize. And that's very, very important because you don't come and defame a character he who alleges must prove. So it was very, very out of place for him to just come out and blame it on the Labour Party and Peter Obi. First and foremost, Nigerians do have a legitimate right, for peaceful protest. It is within the ambit of the law. So I don't understand why he would now want to vilify a certain people or a certain group. And that's why we didn't take it lightly with Bayo Onanuga. It was very, very... I'm even really trying to rein in my emotions right now because it's quite annoying. And he didn't stop there. He went as far as attacking young people, listing their names on his Twitter handle. Some of these people live abroad, so that means what you're doing is you're creating room for people who don't live within Nigeria to be proscribed unnecessarily. Exactly. As far as I'm concerned, they themselves should take a class action against him because he has no proof of what he has said. And for somebody who is a media personality, somebody who is a veteran journalist, you would expect him to know better and you would expect him to do better.
Maybe they are gauging the mood and then the momentum. If you look at it...
If you're gauging the mood, you're gauging the momentum, that's fine. It's fine and dandy. It's okay. But you cannot, when you have no proof of what you're saying, come and say that it is Peter Obi. The former vice president, Waziri Adamawa Atiku has even himself come to say he's in full support. I haven't heard Mr. Onanuga come for him.
Maybe he will come for him.
He should then. That means he's going to spend very many days in court because I read in the news that he said he was not going to apologize.
So you're certain of going to court if you didn't?
He said he was not going to apologize. It was in the news this morning. It was all over the news headlines. And so that's it. I think he spoke out of turn, and that is an infringement on the rights of Nigerians.
If Onanuga says that he will not withdraw what he said, don't you think maybe he has his facts? They are in high places there in the villa.
And the court.
They get feelers from security agencies and all that.
No, but in truth, let us assume, for the sake of argument, that it's Labour Party or it's X and Y. What is wrong with that?
Absolutely not.
What's the role of opposition? The role of opposition is to look for your problems, to look for your gaps. Always, they are not. That's why in some economies and some political systems, you have shadow economies. You have a shadow minister. For every you have line of ministers, then you have shadow ministers. Their work is to criticize you, nothing else, and they're paid for it.
Are you on the same umbrella with them?
No. Okay. Like in the UK now, you have a minister for transport, for example. The opposition party will have a shadow minister of transport just to be looking at what you are doing and to criticize you, and he's paid. Do you understand?
For that job?
Yes. Absolutely. The party pays him. Not to speak of now, the role of opposition is not to incite, not to instigate, lawfully to look out for your gaps and be poking you with them so that you address them. So I don't even see the need to deny whether it's Labour Party or whether it's PDP or whoever. They are Nigerians and they have a right to protest.
So the federal government shouldn't have gone for a particular person to say you are responsible.
I don't have the details. If they did, even if they are responsible, then what is wrong? The people you mentioned, they are Nigerians. Simple. They are Nigerians and they have a right to even stage a protest. So that line of argument we shouldn't be discussing it anymore.
Nana, are you not scared that in the event the protests happen, that it will be hijacked by?
It's a clear and present danger. We've seen that happen. But then again, you even said it in your news in the headline.
Tidbit, yes.
You said it in your tidbit that Femi Falana did say at some point that it was the government that came and hijacked it. And that's the reason why they don't want. You see, you must not see protest as an affront. It's the opportunity for you to sit down and dialogue with the people that you said you were going to serve. The fact that Nigerians are thinking of coming to protest, like he said, they've bypassed the National Assembly and they want to speak directly, it means that their voices are not being heard. I'll give you a case in point. There's a sister media house that organized the program, and it was the first year, so that Nigerians get a feel from their ministers what they've done in the last 1 year. No single minister
was there.
after they had agreed that they would come, they had RSVP'd, they didn't show up. But I want to give, I want to say a big kudos, I want to give my flowers to the Minister of Arts, Culture and Creative, Hannatu Musawa, because at least she had a representative who came for the program. But that was about it. We have a ministerial cabinet of about how many people? 42 ministers, and no minister showed up. So it just goes to show that they're not willing to dialogue with the people. They're not willing to
protect their job, because today they converge, at the office of the Secretariat to the Government of the Federation. Almost, many of them were.
Do they not work for the Nigerian people anymore?
So there is question on their head.
Of course, we're asking a lot of questions. And that's why you see that people are saying they want to protest. People want to make their voices heard. People want to be sure, and I agree with what Yakubu just said, because the protest must be demand-driven. It's very, very important.
Well, the hashtag,
you must be able to say...
It has its hashtag, end bad governance.
Nigerian government should then commit itself to doing the right thing.
The good governance.
All the time. For the people of Nigeria. This is simple elementary government. Why is it that we want to thrive on negativity? Why is it that at some point in time we wake up and we just say, okay, you know what? Let's push the goalpost in the middle of the game. You keep blindsiding the people of Nigeria, and it's really beginning to get to everybody. Everybody's feeling the crunch. You can see Aliko Dangote. He's been in the media consistently. Wow. You can see that the man is stressed. When the richest man on a continent, the richest man in Africa, is beginning to rethink why he even invested in his own country, that is a huge problem for the country, because indirectly or directly, what we have done is we're telling international businessmen that they're not welcome if we cannot take care of our own. This government has dropped the ball one too many times on Nigerians. You removed the fuel subsidy, and we were told that things would get better. Things have gotten worse. Look at the price of food in the market. The statistics will tell you 34%. We know that Nigerians have to now buy food, in some places 5 times more than what it cost us last year. Nigerians have become poorer than they were last year. Then you say you're giving 70,000 naira as your minimum wage. It is an abysmal figure.
All right, Yakubu, you
That's just $42 or $43 at the end of the day.
Yes.
When it was 18,000 naira, how much was the naira to the dollar at that time?
All right, we will still discuss that. You are for public integrity and transparency. Some netizens, let me put it this way, they are now excavating, posts by many people who are within government now, who actively participated in, protest against Goodluck Jonathan, against Buhari. Even President Tinubu, he was seen. They excavated his post. In fact, lead headlines on some major newspapers. Is it not an indictment of government to now keep saying that, no, don't go out for protest? When they were in the opposition, they actually championed this cause.
Okay. Like I said earlier on, it is the right of every citizen to protest the government when their demands are not met or when they want to voice a concern. And like I said in the past, these gentlemen you all mentioned, there is evidence of them staging protest. So I understand that argument. There's even no argument there anyway. But the argument of the government, and I don't want to sound like I'm speaking for government now, is there.
But I'm happy because Nana is actually all out to tackle them. So maybe you will help. In moderating.
The argument they are making, which I tend to align with to some limit.
With the government?
With government, yes, is the security concerns. I don't think government is saying do not protest. I'm not sure, in case they are.
Let for them.
If they are,
they don't want the protest.
President Tinubu has actually said that Nigerians should please. The headlines all over yesterday were saying that he was pleading with Nigerians not to protest. His government is just a year old. All Nigerians are asking for is your scorecard. What have you done in the last year? Sorry, I interrupted you.
It's fine. Yes. And now that is okay. I think if he did that, that's an even good thing. It's a good response. In the last government of the past 8 years, they never even spoke to us. Well, all the noise we made, the protests we made, the Buhari government never responded. So if President Tinubu did this, I think it's a good thing. But the only angle I will allow...
I don't want to agree with you.
No,
okay, go ahead.
The president, I did see it.
Yes.
I'm using her words.
Yes.
If he actually came out to
he
do
did,
that,
of course he did.
It's a good thing. Yes, but that does not negate the fact they should still bring out their scorecard.
And I'm going to ask specific questions on the scorecard. Yes.
And it's a legitimate argument to use security as an issue. Because now when protests are hijacked for whether it's politicians or hoodlums or whoever, you guys are the ones that are causing, but it's a concern. That's all I'm just saying. Yes. So
then the onus is on the government. Where's your National Orientation Agency? That means I always ask this question. That means the onus is on government to be able to ensure, talking to their security operatives, that every single Nigerian that decides to come out to protest, which is within the ambit of the law, should be protected. Do not shoot at them. Do not use brute force. So right now, since there's a momentum gearing to a particular day, I would expect that there's a lot of sensitization going on both ways. So it's the traffic going both ways.
Maybe it is the protest that is louder. But even today, I got some messages from Noah, talking about all these things. Yakubu mentioned something. Yes, Yakubu mentioned something, Nana, that assuming the National Assembly is living up to its expectation, the executive wouldn't have even dissipate energy to wade into this. Do you agree? Because yesterday they passed some bills, including changing the Police Act, Northwest and Southeast Development Commission bills, and then they close until September 18. That is the Senate. Is this the right time for them to go?
I don't think so. There is a pending and looming protest. I know that they have their timetable, but this is not the time for you to say you're going on recess. Is that not some form of cowardice? Nigerians put you in office. And so when Nigerians are saying, listen to me, I want to talk to you, you should be available.
Or is it Akpabio is dodging because you took him to cleaners, your group, you took him, the pleaders, when is it call out Natasha? Or
he didn't call out Natasha. I think he was downright disrespectful to the person of Senator Natasha, and unfortunately, because
you instigated the social media against
then I must be a very, very powerful person. Then it's good that I have a good voice. It's not about me. It's not about fleeters. It's mainly about the collective. So you can imagine that it wasn't just a lone voice in the wilderness speaking to that. It was the voice of the collective. So I congratulate every single Nigerian that stood up and said no. Men and women came out. Young people came out and said, no, this was wrong. You crossed the line here. She wasn't dressed like she was in a nightclub. She wasn't wearing... There's no reason. You could have just corrected her. And the beauty about what Senator Natasha did was immediately he told her that she was speaking out of turn. She immediately apologized and sat down.
But he went ahead.
But there was... exactly. He still went in to say, you're not in a nightclub.
So talking about them going on leave, you think Nigerians should call them? Because I can see they are beginning to listen to voices of reason. Should they come back, or maybe they should proceed instead of going on vacation? They should all go to their constituencies.
That's exactly. That I was just about to say that you took the words right out of my mouth. Okay. So while they're on holiday, while they're on leave or they're on recess, I would expect the sensible thing to do for any well-meaning elected person in office is to go back to your constituents and begin to calm the nerves of the people. Begin to speak with them, start to engage and start to talk to them, start to listen and get feedback. Because that's how I see that the protests, the government should see it as positive feedback.
Okay,
that the people want to. They want to be heard. They want solutions. So that means the government itself should be solution-driven. While we're asking people to be demand-driven, the government should also prepare to be solution-driven. You say your solution is that you're giving people 1,000, each state, 1,200 bags of rice, coming to 44,400 bags of rice. My question is, for 200 plus million people, how did you arrive at that figure? 44,000 bags of 25 kg.
Is that 50 kg?
Yes, I read it in Punch newspaper. So let us assume, let me use Abuja. I'm not a mathematician or a statistician, but I sat down and I thought to myself, okay, let's use Abuja. I think we have approximately 4 million people. Work with me. Let's work with 4 million people. You say that you're giving Abuja 1,200 bags of rice, 25 kg. On an average, let's say we have 5 people per household. So that means 4 million people, we have 800,000 households. If you follow the Nigerian Bureau of Statistics 2018, 2019, they said we had 63% Nigerians were multidimensionally poor. So let's bring that to Abuja. 800,000. As at 20, I'm using the old statistics now. I don't know what it says today, and I will not quote what I probably don't know. So if we're now going to bring it to Abuja, 63% of 800,000 households, it's 504,000 households. So how did you arrive at 1,200 bags? So when we remove, wait, I think I even mixed it up. When you now remove 1,000, even if we decide to break the bags into 5 kg bags per home, that means we're going to have 6,000 bags.
Okay.
For 520-something thousand households. So it's only going to be 6,000 bags for over 500,000 households, not individuals. So how did they arrive at that figure?
Yes, Nana.
So we will have 498,000 households without.
Okay. I will allow you to actually respond to this or add your own voice to this, but we will go on a short break.
Okay.
Yes. Viewers, don't go away. We'll be back shortly. Welcome back. If you are just joining, you are watching Daily Politics on Trust TV. Do well to follow the conversation across our social platforms on Facebook, Instagram, and watch us live on YouTube. I have on my far right, Nana Kazaure. She served as spokesperson for the Labour Party Presidential Campaign Council 2023, and she is the Executive Director of FLEADERS, a female leadership project. Here is Umar Yakubu, Executive Director, Center for Fiscal Transparency and Public Integrity. Welcome back to the program.
Thank you.
Yes, Nana spoke at length. In fact, she demystified what Tinubu said yesterday, what the minister said today. 740 trucks. She wanted to cascade it to, households. And I think we arrive at cups, maybe a cup per household, which will not be enough for breakfast. But in concrete terms, talking about good governance and delivering promises, we know that the president, when they remove fuel subsidy, they spoke about bringing like buses to cushion transportation, having CNG, electric, and all that. Why are they not talking about it now, as people are gearing up for strike?
Okay, I've noticed governments all over the world, not only Nigeria, like to do the easier things to do. Now we have a problem of inflation. She said 34%. Food inflation is actually 40%.
Exactly.
Yeah. But let's accept the 34%. You have issues of unemployment.
Because they have food inflation, and then the general inflation.
Exactly.
That's what I said, food is 40.
Yeah, the food is 40.
General is 34.
Yeah.
You have an inflation crisis. You have unemployment crisis, security challenges. There have been some improvements, yes, but the challenges are still there. Multiple layers of challenges now. And you want to solve it by throwing food to people. And we Nigerians will accept We take the food, then we forget. That's why I was against suggestion, let the senators go back to their constituents, House of Rep members go back to the constituency, and what do they do when they go back? You and I, we have constituency, we know. What do they do? Is to share palliative. Palliative from where? What is their salary? Where do you get the money to share those palliatives? Usually public sector corruption. They share for 1, 2, 3 days. Based on our mathematics, is the food is over maximum 1 week.
Then what?
And I'm exaggerating.
That is,
then what?
You isolated actually a big segment because by the time we allow, assuming we allowed her, I'm sure she will arrive at maybe a cup per household. Yeah.
No, go to 1 bag per household, no problem. 1 bag per household. How long will it last?
Then in Abuja, I think the whole that lot will end up in Gwarimpa.
So you see, we are looking at the easier things to do. I can assure you, if each household at that level is given 1 bag per week, people will be quiet. But that is not our problem. There are bigger fundamental issues that we don't want to solve. That's why I was telling her during the break, it's better the even National Assembly, they even go. Because when you now assess, yes, for me, they should even go arrest. Assess their performance in the, and I'm not, just today, just to dissect a bit, we sent a letter to them about...
From your organization?
Yes, about 620 grant corruption-related probes.
What? How
grant. I need
620?
Yes, I need to tell you corruption. I said grant corruption-related probes from 1999 till date. Do you know how many have been completed and reported? 0. So really, what are they doing there? So
is it that the reports were submitted by various groups or by your group specifically?
No, they constitute committees. Every day you watch the proceedings at the National Assembly, or every week you will hear, we have constituted a committee to investigate this oil theft, we have constituted a committee to investigate NNPC, we have done this. You hear the members of the committee. I challenge you to bring any report of the outcome of any of those investigations from 1999 to date. So it has become a trading platform. You know, you harass the executives, the chief executives, you come, they trade, and it just goes down. No, nothing comes out of it. So really, I'm so sorry to say, really, what is their presence going to be to help to alleviate this situation? Because if they were doing their jobs, the federal government will not have this pressure. And I think the federal government understands that the people do not trust the people that are supposed to be representing them. That is why citizens are bypassing them. So there's no use. We have to look at those issues. We can't be looking at the easier issues and just be picking them, palliative here, food there, share money here, and no. There are bigger issues that need to be resolved.
Okay, Nana, where is the problem? The government's inability to bring out the concrete measures, like the bosses I asked.
The last time I was here, I did say that this government came in with a certain type of overconfidence.
Overconfidence.
Oh, yes. They came with a certain type of arrogance and overconfidence, and I have not seen them embark on a government of national unity. It's just a caucus thing.
It's about family and friends?
Yes, that's what it is. It's quite nepotistic. It's the same circle over and over again.
Is that why they're not getting
names.
it right?
Absolutely, because if it was like we all know, when there is healthy opposition, you get good feedback. Who is giving them the necessary feedback? One of the people who decides that, I'm going to become opposition, I'm going to speak, and I'm going to, highlight, and I'm going to ensure that they begin to look at things under the microscope. They've decided to call that person all kinds of names. So they're not...
But Atiku is also there. You can see almost every week the way you people are issuing statements.
Have any of these people been called to come to the table?
Are you
unity.
saying that if Tinubu were to call Peter...
You would never know if you do not try. You will never know.
So you think they didn't extend the olive?
No, they didn't. They didn't. And it's not just about... Atiku and Peter Obi. I'm talking about national unity. Wherever it is, you can get brilliant minds, young people, women, inclusivity, of course, people who are ready to speak the truth, people who are ready to look you in the face and say, this is how you should go about this particular matter. People who are invested in their country, Nigeria. I'm sorry, I haven't seen that. It's about cronyism.
Okay.
It is what it is.
Is there an element of misplacement of priorities that is responsible, maybe, for our inability to see certain things in concrete terms? Maybe, okay, roads, let's say maybe in agriculture, in health, that people are clamoring for.
Okay, to answer again the CNG question,
yes,
and why Nigerians will like going for the easier things to do instead of doing the big things that have impact, measurable impact. Now you have CNG buses, let's assume they are there, and Labour accepted the CNG buses.
Well, they promised them the last meeting before the president transmitted the minimum wage bill to the National Assembly. He said he will give them, I think, is it 3 or 30?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think it's 37 or something
whatever
like that.
The number.
Each, maybe that will go to each of the states, yes.
You have a problem of high cost of transportation. And the reason why you have this high cost of transportation is because you are importing fuel, right? That if you have local refineries that are producing at a cheaper rate, fuel will be less. So you see, we'll now go for the easier one to blind us. Give CNG buses, maybe 1,000 of them, maybe 2,000, I don't know the number, and we forget. Meanwhile, the industry, the organized crime industry of fuel theft is still ongoing. It's still ongoing. Do you understand? So now, if you solve the problem of the oil and gas industry of the theft, last year we're producing 1.5 million barrels per day, average. This year we're producing, this today, 1.5 million barrels per day. Guess how much has been spent by NNPC and Co. I'm not sure who released the money on guarding pipelines. 130 billion. But we will not see it. They will give you CNG buses and you forget. So it's distractionary. People should look at the core. Now, when your fuel price is lower, is cheaper, it affects everybody. You don't even need the CNG buses. And once you have you ramp up your production, it means you have more forex to use to utilize the economies you say to use to defend the naira. So your exchange rate would drop. It will not be 1,500. It will come down lower. So once it's lower, you see you're solving bigger problems than rice, CNG buses, and all these little things that we like to jump at.
If I understand you, you are saying even the issue of bringing CNG or having electric is misplacement.
It's distraction. I won't say misplacement, I'll just call it a distraction. It's a good thing, you know, clean energy, the environment needs to be cleaner, let's be using gas-enabled vehicles, that is fine. But to say it's a solution, CNG buses is a solution to the high cost of living, it is not.
It will not solve.
It is not.
Nana, do you agree with him?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I couldn't have put it better. He said it. But where I might just want to buttress what he has said is that when he mentioned that it's people forget, I think that's the old school way of thinking. Nigerians aren't forgetting anymore, and that's why they're now asking for accountability.
The new generation.
The new generation of people want to see again. I'll use the phrase, your scorecard. People want to know, what have you done within this time frame to this time frame. People have become a lot more savvy, aware, educated on politics and the policies, and now more young people want to be better and properly informed. So now there's the office of the citizen. They see themselves sitting in the office of the citizen of Nigeria, because it's not everybody that thinks they want to japa. And even if you want to japa, in the interim while you're still here, you want things to work. I've always said it, Nigerian people are an amazing set of people. There's something in our DNA that enables us to go out of the country and thrive and do better than everybody else that was there before us. Why can't we do the same? Why is it impossible, seemingly impossible, for us to be able to achieve this in our own country?
Throughout the week, it was a fight between Dangote citizens on one hand, and then, I don't want to say government, but a section of government about his refinery And Nigerians are saying maybe government wants to perpetuate the difficulties. That is why they are reluctant to actually give him the desired support for his refinery to function very well. Do you agree? Because people are also relating that with the protest now.
I agree.
Why?
Because we know that this particular sector has been riddled with corruption. We know that this particular sector, we were told that we were the ones paying the difference for the subsidy, only for us to find out that the government is still paying subsidy. Why lie
As
to
we
us?
speak now.
Why lie to us? Why
Yakubu,
not
could that be
explain
reason
to Nigerians
why
what the truth
this
is?
payment of subsidy, after removal of subsidy, could that be responsible as to why things refuse to normalize?
See,
It has boomerang.
the NNPC, especially of before, I don't know if they have changed now or today, they have well-documented history of being against the Nigerian state, as far as I'm concerned.
NNPC?
Yes, they are against
This is a serious allegation.
Yes, they are against the Nigerian
you have your
state,
facts, yeah.
by their actions. If you have a corporation that in 20 years has not managed to, or did not even build, to fix, let's not go to others, to fix 4 refineries in 20 years. And in those same 20 years, billions of naira, I can't give you the amount, have gone in.
Well, we did an analysis here in Daily Trust that between 2015 and 2022, whopping 12.5 trillion
Thank you.
was sunk
Now,
into those 4 refineries, including the subsidy payment. This was between 2015 and 2022.
okay.
And then what? Yes,
And it's
and then
still
what
not
has spent 7 trillion to build.
No, I'm laying the foundation for you now.
Yeah.
Why this mistrust is here. Now, if you have an organization that for 20 years cannot fix a refinery, for even one refinery, the same organization that took about $1 billion or so last year or 2 years loan to fix the same refinery that we have not seen today, the same organization that cannot solve the problem of oil theft, the same organization that is being accused, we don't have the facts, or they're having outside offshore refineries and importing. The same organization
all denied.
that is
Yes,
spending,
Melekari came out
fine, no fact, spending billions on protecting pipelines today, this company, today that company, tomorrow this organization, that organization. Now, if that were an individual, won't that individual be tried for treason? Just think about it now. So that organization has failed. That's why they are struggling today to even convince Nigerians against Dangote. While there might be issues, there could be issues, but nobody is willing to listen to NNPC on one side. And don't forget the NUPRC, the regulators now, and the NNPDRC too, they were all offshoots of the NNPC. The same DNA. So that same structural disease is in them that people don't even want to trust them.
Then let's try and prescribe solution, Nana. It's like you want to add something, but you should put it alongside. Yes.
I just want to buttress this, that it's really it's astonishing and quite careless for the government to look at a man like Aliko Dangote and not appreciate what he has brought to the table. I'm not holding brief for him, but I want to say this, please.
I'm also trying to see that maybe it's not really the government as a whole, but maybe a part of the government.
Either way, it's still the government. It's still him versus them. It's still them versus him. So what I was just trying to say is that a person like Dangote, aside from Nigeria's civil service, he's the next highest employer of Nigerians. How is it that they cannot come to the table and sit down to resolve whatever the issues
They
are?
have resolved to do that now with the meeting the Minister of State for Petroleum.
Why did they wait for it to go?
They shouldn't even have allowed
It shouldn't even have happened
public,
in the first place. That's what I'm saying.
All right.
So you can imagine when they say, don't let Nigeria happen to you. You can imagine what young entrepreneurs, SMEs, small-scale businesses have to put up with on a daily basis.
You're on diesel now.
Okay, I'll take your final call now. I mean, suggestion on how to avert the protest, what government must do, and what organizers of this protest should do. Please do this in less than 1 minute because we're rounding up.
The government should just understand that it's within the ambit of the law. They cannot stop Nigerians from.
So they should allow Nigerians to go.
They should not be seen to truncate the process.
Will you join them? Will you join the protest?
Yes, I will.
Okay, what will you advise your co-protesters?
Peaceful protests. It has to be peaceful. It just has to be peaceful.
Yeah.
And let our voices be heard.
Yakubu, you heard her.
Yeah.
What should government do to avert the protests and to convince Nigerians that if they give government another chance, they will not contemplate going for another protest?
Okay, the government should remind Nigerians, something we don't discuss often, that in the revenue sharing formula, federal government, I think, is 42% about that. State government is, the state and local governments take the remainder of the 42%. Don't forget, governors control local government. So that whole money, as far as I'm concerned, is with the governors.
Yes.
It's the state government now.
Yeah.
Now, as we are hitting the federal government, most of our people are at the state and local government level. There should be more pressure.
Okay.
Statistically,
Finally.
there should be more pressure at the subnational level, because what governors are doing yesterday,
We're rounding up, yeah.
the Ministry of Finance refunded money close to 500 billion naira to states. Nobody is saying anything.
So we should go for that.
Yes.
All right, I am compelled to actually
Even
stop
while
you.
I'm sitting
Umar
in the-
Yakubu, Executive Director, Center for Fiscal Transparency and Public Integrity. I wish we have opportunity before August 1 to discuss more. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
And Nana Kazaure, Spokesperson,
Thank you for
Presidential
having
Campaign Council,
Even as
Labour
I'm
Party.
sitting here, is it
Of
not
course,
a protest?
I hope we get the opportunity to give you more room to talk. Thank you for coming to the program.
Thank you.
And viewers, that's a wrap on today's package. We hope you found the conversation engaging and informative. And be
It
sure
was. Great
to join
show.
Daily Politics, airing every weekday, and our special
yeah,
package on Friday, during which we open the telephone line for you to comment on national issues. Bye-bye for now. I'm Hamza Idris.